Reaching you live from our SROTV studio. My name is Princess KESSY
And I am blessing AKAN.
on Wake Up Nigeria. Now, on Wake Up Nigeria today, we have a lot of trending issues. We're seeing that the president keeps meeting people, governors, senators elects. I bet all this is geared towards the betterment of the country.
Country. Yeah.
I really like the fact that the man is not seated, is not resting. He's just up and
I'm
doing,
doing
and that
yes.
is something we really want at this point in time. And just before we continue, viewers, I'm going to bring in a guest later. We're going to be discussing issues bordering on some of the students when we talk about the higher institution. And like I said, a lot of stories, and we know the subsidy removal is still a major news that is still trending. While some are of the opinion that that was a very good move, others feel the policy is right, but the timing is wrong.
It's wrong.
We're going to continue now, and I'm going to start with the newspaper reviews. Let's start with the Punch newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the Punch, and the main headline here says subsidy. Tinubu orders Shetima governors to work on salaries palliatives. Starts work. Tinubu tells NEC as 22 governors, marketers back subsidy removal. And the second rider says Oyo plan salary increase. Labour give June 19 ultimatum on 200,000 wage. Now, all these stories on page 2 and 27 of the Punch newspaper. We also have a story here that says National Assembly Tinubu APC moved to appease anti-zoning members, and that story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. We also have a story here that says poor debt-ridden states give governors jumbo exit package. That story is on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says ex-SGF hands over Boko Haram detainees Magus cases to Akume on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says 427 962 Nigerians in diaspora to get NIN, and that story is on page 23 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says customs uncover 25 duty evading factories in Lagos, and that story is on page 25 of the Punch newspaper. The last story here says NNPCL to court fuel import from August, and that story is on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from the Punch this morning. So, blessing, I saw a story here that
That
says now this is coming from the president on subsidy.
yeah.
Tinubu orders Chetima,
Shetima.
that is the vice
President,
president. And I
yes.
love the fact that he's actually ordering the vice president, because we are not in the era where we want to see what happened the last time. People feel the ex vice president didn't do more. He
Anything,
was
yes.
just
It was
there.
just there.
Yes. So I like the fact that Tinubu wants the way his meeting is working. This one also should be
Should be
busy
involved,
as
yes.
well.
Should be
Should be
busy doing
involved.
something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in Shetima governors to work on salaries palliatives.
Palliatives.
But how much are they going to pay
Like
that is going to ease this stress? I don't think that increase of salary, I think, is cutting down on the fuel price that should
yes.
still help. And then we saw a story here that says start work. Tinubu tells NEC as 22 governors,
Governor.
marketers back subsidy removal. And now there's something about this, our new president. This is my opinion though. Once he meets with you, people tend to just key into his vision.
Yes.
A lot of people have issues with him fighting, but the moment he have a meeting with you, I don't know how he used to appease these people, what he
Honestly,
uses to appease them, what he says. But the next thing, look at all
they
the
just kill
governors.
into his
Yes,
ideas
all
and
the governors and a lot of people are now backing the subsidy removal. Now
yes.
to now, a lot of these people also have the opinion that the timing is wrong
It's
for the
wrong.
policy. This is not a good timing. The subsidy should not be removed. But the moment they have that closed door meeting or any meeting with the
With the
president,
president, yes.
it's just turned around.
That
We
is
see how that goes. And then we're still seeing here that Oyo plans to increase salary. This one
Salary.
is not planned. They should increase. No
They
need
should
planning.
increase.
Yes, they will, because sometimes planning could take months. So you know how government and their
Yes.
policies.
They should increase their salaries.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we saw a story. A Labour give June 19 ultimatum on
1,000
200,000
wages.
wage. I can't see how that goes. I'm happy, but what of the people? Like I have the other day on the show, the head of information of Nigerian Labour Congress that did say that the minimum wage is not every body that is benefiting from it. So
Yes, it's
what
not.
about these people, the private sector, who is checkmating them to know that they are paying their workers well, or
Well,
they are just enslaving these workers?
it's true.
These are some of the issues. And I also like the fact that Nigerians in diaspora to get NIN. They should. They are Nigerians,
They
so
should. They are
that is,
citizens of
yes,
Nigeria. They
yes,
should
they
also
should.
have that NIN.
Yes, and I'm surprised that custom uncovered 25 evading factories in Lagos. Wow, that is serious. Well, kudos to the Nigerian customs.
Customs. So
So NNPC had to cut fuel import from August. Please, Dangote, do something. At this point, we are beckoning on Dangote to produce and to give us at a cheaper rate.
yes,
Yes, at a cheaper rate. Anyway, we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
we have the first newspaper, and our head story here is subsidy remover. No agreement yet with federal government, says Labour. During next meeting, government will tell us what they can do. We will also bring our data to the table, NLC TUC say. Items to be addressed at June 19 meeting with federal government's team. And again, we have subsidy remover. Tinubu direct Economic Council to work on palliatives. That story is here on the first page. And also, Nigerian poverty level unacceptable. Tinubu tells government, swears in Akume as SGF. Bajimila dissolve Ninth Assembly. Tribunal, how Peter Obi rig out Atiku in Anambra witness. Again, in the front page, we have Tribunal admits final presidential election results as exhibits in Obi's petition. Muslim ticket fraudulent Northern elders. Tension in Lute over CMD appointment as concerned staff deserve fresh process. All these headlines is at the front newspaper of first newspaper. And
Wow, I saw a story here. That is Bajabia Mila dissolves Ninth Assembly.
assembly.
Wow. Ah. Power is transferred. I don't think that politicians should actually die trying to get a power, hold on to power, because at some point you will still have to leave. So
You
this
have
is
to
going
leave
to
for
be a
another people
lesson
to take over.
for others.
Mm.
And I love the fact that the president is just everywhere. But
I like that too.
I don't understand Labour. No agreement yet with FG, says Labour. How come you didn't go on strike again? Because I had the TUC, one of the officials yesterday as well. They said they had a meeting, and the federal government is planning to look, or has agreed to their demands. So hearing this is like, I don't want to say the labor or the organized labor tend to talk from the both side of their mouth.
Okay.
Or I don't want to still believe Nigerians are referring to them as the toothless bulldog. I don't want to believe that.
But then I
What
think
is this was saying?
yes, is I think the first meeting they had with the federal government, they didn't come into a conclusion. That was the meeting that led to the date, the 19th June. That is when they'll have the final,
And
they'll
that is
take the
why they
final
had to do
decision.
the strike
That was why they
tomorrow.
said no agreement yet. But then I think suspending the strike was not necessary.
Well, the court actually issued that, and there was nothing they could do. And I saw a story here that said Nigerians' poverty level unacceptable. Tinubu tells governors. Swear in Akume as FGS. Congratulations to Akume. And yes, that I feel I also share that opinion. The poverty level is unacceptable by me as well. So that is the more reason he should be on the ground.
Yes.
And we're seeing a story here as well that says Tinubu admits final presidential election results as exhibits in Obi's tribunals. Beg your pardon. I see that the tribunal is really keeping it. They are bringing all the exhibits, all the whole evidence. But at
Yes,
this point, we just wait and see the
the
outcome of
outcome of
this.
it.
Yes, the outcome of it all.
And there's another story. Yes, Senate presidency. Akpabio remains the man to beat, says Afegua.
Afebua. That Senate presidency, like I said yesterday, the more you see, the more you look, the less
Less
you
you can
see.
see. Yes,
We'll just wait and see who becomes who at the National Assembly. But our prayer is that we have good leaders who have the interests of the
of the
people
masses.
at
Yes.
heart.
Mm.
And also, there's a story here that says there's a story here that says not Muslim ticket fraudulent northern elders. We really do hope so. It shouldn't be a um Muslim ticket fraudulent. Anyway, but Tinubu is a Muslim and Shetima is a
Is a
Muslim.
Muslim.
So that means we're actually in a Muslim ticket era. Anyway, there's a story here that says tension in Lut over CMD's appointment
Appointment.
as concerned staff demand fresh process. Okay, we
Wow.
move quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that would be the Vanguard. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the Vanguard. Main headline here says unpaid gratuities, pensions, wages choke states. And the
Oh
rider says
gosh.
34 states owe backlog of gratuities, 27 states burdened by unpaid pensions. State owes salaries. We are doing our best to clear them, state governments. All the stories on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says FG joined forces to drive tax compliance. And that story is on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper as well. There's a story here that says subsidy remover. Tinubu directs NEC to work on palliatives. That story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. There's a story here that says youth despondence. We must act now. Bajabia Miller, and that story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Presidential Tribunal will be tenders 319 additional exhibits. That story is on page 11 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, there's a story here that says after meeting Tinubu, oil marketers declare support for fuel subsidy removal on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. There's a story here as well that says Senate, I am not bothered about rubber stamp tag. This is coming from Lawan
Hmm.
on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, there's a story here that says it's not in Tinubu's interest to impose leadership on 10th NAS. Now, this is coming from NEF on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says presidential poll disrupts five INEC ad hoc staff to testify against Tinubu APC, and that story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Islamization, Erufai seeking relevance, ignore him, and this is coming from Khan on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well on the Vanguard as sport desk, we have Nations Barcelona, Saudi Arabia joins Beckham's Inter Milan. That story is Inter Miami. That story is on page 29 of the Vanguard newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from the Vanguard this morning. Unpaid gratuities, pensions, wages choke states. As Nigeria popularly says, choke. It's not for only the youth.
Yes.
It's choking even the
It's choking
self-employed.
everybody.
But this is there's something I don't like about this. How can people that have served over the years, they have worked, as at the time they had the energy to serve a country, they did serve the country.
Yes.
And then now that they are old and they are vulnerable, you cannot pay their pensions.
It's
It's
so painful.
disgraceful. It's shameful. And then you have governors, security vote. For instance, that of my former governor in my state, 2 billion naira. How is that? Security vote
These
of
are money meant for the people. Why are they not giving them?
is really sad. Can you imagine 34 states owe backlog of gratuities, 27 states burdened by unpaid pensions? How can you be owing old people?
27 states.
I believe these governors, these politicians should have parents as well. You take care of your parents. So why don't you want to take care of the old people? It's shameful, it's
Oh,
disgraceful, and
yes,
it's
it
really
is.
annoying. And then there's a story here as well to say, um, youths, despondents, we must act now. Bajabi and Miller. I want to say good morning to the former speaker. I think he's just waking up. So good, a special good morning to him. They're supposed to have been taking care of this way, and that is why the youth are traveling. That is why
They're
they
traveling.
involve themselves in religious activities.
Yes,
You see youth involving in Yahoo, ritual killing, robbing, a lot kidnappings, because
so
at
many
this point
crimes.
they don't know what to do. When the governor is not willing to act, they just want to do anything to just make money. These are some of the issues. And there's a story here as well that says,
So
after
sad.
meeting Tinubu, oil marketers declare support for fuel subsidy removal. That is what I said earlier. The moment they meet Tinubu, something changes. Not just the governors, but the oil marketers. They were
Oil
against it,
marketers.
and now they are now supporting fuel subsidy removal. This time has really irritated. People used to say he's a political godfather. Why I want to
He
believe that
is.
he's a
He
political
is.
godfather? Because the moment he speaks to people, he just says
People
that no,
get
let
to
it please them.
understand
They understand.
and they agree with
Yes,
him.
they
Yes, easily.
understand.
It's true.
And that is really nice with person. And there's a story here I wanted to smile while we do. Seen it, I am not bothered about the stamp time. I think goes, I used to say this, it's you as it's just a personal opinion, but I feel like since my adulthood, knowing what the national, the senate, whatever they are,
Yeah.
I think this is for me. This was the worst. This ninth assembly that just passed, because just compared to the time of Saraki, you
Yes,
still
yes.
hear issues coming from the NAS, issues of national interest, issues. You know what's happening. They are passing bills. They are
Up
this.
and
They
down.
are that.
Yes.
They are summoning people to the national assembly. But this ninth assembly, as governed by Lawan, I don't know what they did. They were just too quiet for my
They
liking.
were too
As
quiet.
if
They
nothing
didn't
was happening
follow.
in National
Yes,
Assembly.
there was that energy was not
Was not
there.
there. And now he's saying he's not bothered that they were called rubber stamped.
He's not bothered.
Yes,
Yeah, he
that they
has
were
finished
called
what he wants to do.
rubber stamp tag. But you won't. I believe the people that actually brought this thing
Mm.
about rubber stamp tag, we have the same opinion I had. And these are all the stories are here coming from Vanguard. We'll move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
We have the Guardian newspaper, and our head story here is uproar over NNPC sleazy $25.9 billion oil swap, 13.9 trillion naira subsidy payments. This story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And again, we have Atiku laments inability to access INEC materials after paying 6.69 million naira to commission. That story is on page 4. Again, we have subsidy removal. Tinubu meets oil marketers, directs NEC on intervention. You see that story on page 6. Nigerian loses $2.7 billion to beans exportation. That story is on page 13. And we have another story here. I will do my best, Akume promises at inauguration as SGF. That story is on page 4. Again, we have ensure your appointments reflect merits, diversity, can pledges advise Tinubu. That story is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Yeah, that's all we have here for the Guardian newspaper. And pledges clerics Tinubu. He knows.
You know what? I think we now have so much wisdom as well to ask him. Apart from the fact that we are not finding this concept
Subsidy
funny.
funny.
For any other thing, I think we would like, and I'm really hoping that him as well, that $1.7 billion was used in supporting the ban, and that story is that is really sad. I am thinking that, funny enough, this ban, this close of border ban, people still have a way of smuggling these things
Of
into
course,
the
they
country.
have. Yes,
We know that the customs are actually doing their best. They're trying. Kudos to the Nigerian customs, but people still have a way of really bringing these things
they
into
are
the
bringing it
country.
in and
Yes,
out.
and at the point where insecurity is even ravaging at the farmers, the states. So at some point we still have to go and import, because you can't tell somebody, you can't force them to go to farm when you are not putting security in
Yes, it's true.
measures in place for the safety. And then they go to their farms, they see they are killed, they are being slaughtered as if they are animals. So that is why we see that the food. For instance, look at tomatoes. I was just asking my bookie guy the other day, and he was telling me that until there is nobody going to the farm,
It's
they
true.
have to go in groups. You can't go in two or five. You have to go like in 30, in 40, in groups. And everybody lives at the same
And
time. So
tomatoes is so expensive
very,
now,
very
as if it's not
expensive. You
something we
can't
are
afford
producing
it.
in
I
Nigeria.
went the other day to buy I wanted to fry egg, and I sent somebody, they gave him four. I don't know what he bought, pepper and tomatoes and carrot. And the guy is even my friend. So you can imagine, just one seed, big ones. It's really expensive,
It's very
and it's
expensive
getting
now.
to everybody.
That's so
Anyway,
sad.
uh there's a story here also. Atiku have been lamenting since yesterday. Oh, let's take note. Atiku laments inability to access INEC materials after paying 6.69 million
Million
to
to commission.
commission. And I keep asking, I
Why
need
is
to
it
bring
paying
I
and
need
such a huge
yes.
amount to have access
So
to
these
INEC
documents,
materials?
yes, that is what I don't know. And at the end of the day, is still not able to have access to this material. I think that is not even nice. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that would be this day newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have coming from this day. The big headline here says Tinubu seeks partnership with state governors to end extreme poverty. And the rider says direct NEC to develop measures to cushion effects of petrol subsidy removal. Another rider says governor pledges support for policy of new government. Petroleum marketers back policy to donate 100 CNG compliant buses for mass transportation. Now all these stories are on page 10 of the this day newspaper. As well, there's a story here that is we have here 10th Senate presidency. Tinubu meets senators elect today. That story is on page 8 of this day newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says FG to incur additional 2 trillion liability as Senate passes police pension board bill. That story as well is on page 8 of this day newspaper. We also have a story here that says President canvasses EU support in fight against insecurity, poverty in Africa.
Mm.
That story is on page 40 of this day newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Arewa calls for Saraka's arrest after alleged fraudulent Nigerian air on page 44 of this day newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from this day newspaper. And I saw a story here I saw a story here. Ariwa is calling for Saraki's arrest over alleged fraudulent Nigerian air. I love the fact that they are calling for one of them. The person is from Ariwa, I
It's from
guess, as well.
Arewa.
And that is the way it should be. Let's stop covering for people's mistake because we are together, we are from the same place,
Yes,
or
they
we are
should
from the
face the
same
law.
tribe. Yeah, they should face the law. And actually, like, the president has even now is now canvasses to EU, now European Union, to support in fight against insecurity, poverty in Africa. That is what a good leader should do,
Should
not just Nigeria, but we're looking at Africa.
Africa.
Because I feel like most of these people too coming to disturb our farmers are coming from the borders are open. I
The
don't know
borders
why
are
they're
open
saying the
for
borders
them.
are closed. They
They
are
are
coming
open.
from
They have
the
their
border.
ways of coming in.
Yes. So I'm really happy that the president is up and doing. We are happy that the man is not even sitting down, or he's not even sleeping at this point.
at all.
And I saw a story here that says petroleum marketers back policy to donate 100 CNG compliant buses for mass transportation. Who and who will enter, who will not enter? This is just commotion, if you ask me. You can't bring a bus, for instance, Lagos or Abuja stays for free. That means you want people to be fighting.
I think
Except maybe for a low amount, like they used to do with Aero 5 buses in
yes,
Yanya,
yes,
and then
yes.
when
I think
others
it
are,
should be within the state, not across other states. I think
it's
it will
within
be
the
better.
state, but we don't, for instance, you put that in Lagos, do you know the key
It
all
will
the fight?
cause
It will cause
so much
commotion.
fight, and
Except, of course, you're saying the way they used to do on BRT buses,
yes,
you will just enter queue, first come, first
first
serve
serve, yes.
basis.
I think it's going to ease
And
a lot. They
yes,
should,
and
it
like
should be
we that they used to
implemented.
do from Yanya also at we had the Aero 5 buses. I
Yes,
don't know if they're still
I
there.
don't think so.
And then they used to pay lesser amount then. I've never entered though, because that bus was, I felt like it's a waste of time. It was too long. I don't have that patience. Then I used to go sharp
And the
sharp and
crowd used to be much.
used
Like
to be
people will
much.
even stand inside the bus.
Wow.
While others are sitting, others will stand.
Survivor of the fittest. Anyway, viewers, this is Wake Up Nigeria, one of the newspaper reviews. Now we'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue with the reviews, newspaper reviews. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industrial icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Prince, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wiliki, Konga, Bigiano, Nice Flow, Jet Play, and many more. Dates 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com/Nigeria Week or numbers below. For more details, visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week, produced by SRTV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Nigeria Film Corp.
Okay, my people, it could not be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event. And this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1 to the account in Nigeria using SRTV as your transaction code. Screenshot your transaction and send to 447-459-513619 or email it to events@superiorradioandtelevision.com and the ticket will be sent to you ASAP. This is powered by SRTV London and TapTap Send. You already know what time it is. Your boy Ice Prince Amani. I can't wait to ride.
Feeling the boy. Okay, it's so exciting. The game's been dark, but I'm igniting. Positive.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to
That's quick break, and this is Wake Up Nigeria. We're still on the newspaper review. We'll continue with the next newspaper we have.
The Nigerian Tribune. And our head news here is petroleum subsidy. Tinubu direct NEC to work on palliatives for Nigeria. And the rider said, oil marketers to donate mass transit buses worth 10 billion naira. That story is on page 2. And we have another head news here. We say court stops EFCC, ICPC, DSS from arresting Yari. That's all we have for the Nigerian Tribune.
I love the fact here. So these buses are going to these 100 buses worth 10 billion. Is it not good to share that money for us?
No, we need the buses. And if they will be properly managed, I think it's going to ease a lot.
Really?
In terms of the transportation.
Yes, and there's a story here that says court stop EFCC, ICPC, DSS from arresting Yari. Administration shall consult and dialogue but never dictates. Nigeria will be impartially governed according to constitution and the rule of law. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his inaugural
Inaugural
address.
address, yeah.
I think I love that. We should follow the law. By the time I'm saying it, that it's not going to be business as usual. This is somebody I think really knows the law and is trying to uphold the law. That is the good thing. Anyway, we move on
We
quickly
hope
to the.
so,
We do hope so. Yes, that is it.
because the rule of law is going to affect both the highest and the
And
lowest.
yes, it's not.
They are,
Sometimes I'll be in the traffic. I see police beating traffic. Now, road safety will not follow them, but
because they are police
their
officers.
sisters
But if the
agents.
rule of law is in effect, like if
Yes,
the rule of law is implemented in Nigeria, all those things will stop.
that is it. And then with they move forward with the Daily Trust. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the Daily Trust. Big headline here says subsidy remover. Filling stations record low says as governors back Tinubu. Subsidy remover. Filling stations record low says as governors back Tinubu, and the rider says streets, offices quiet, residents remain indoors. Another rider says president ask NEC to work on palliatives, and the last rider says reduce work days to 4. Murek tells FG. Now, all these stories on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here that says overcrowding, NACO restrained pilgrims to 5-day stay in Medina. That story is on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says, I am not bothered. Critics call us rubber stamp assembly. This is coming from Lawan on the page 16 of the Daily Trust newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says police seals Nasarawa Assembly Complex as leadership crisis deepens, and that story is on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here that says Obi LP tender final results at presidential tribunal, and that story is on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. There's a story here that says FG to incur additional 2 trillion liabilities as Senate passes police pension bill. That story is on page 11 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And the last story here says Nigerians poverty level unacceptable, Tinubu tells governors, and that story is on page 15 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Actually, like there's a story here. The main headline is funny though. Filling stations record low sales as governors back Tinubu. Streets, offices quiet, residents remain indoors. Well, who would blame them? You won't, and I like the fact that civil servant can even stay at home and nothing will happen. Unlike we now working private,
Private, yeah.
that you can't do that. You
You
don't
have
have
to
the
come to
power
work
to.
every day, and
Otherwise, there's a way it will burn. You don't have the money for. Yeah, you have to stay. There's nothing you can do about
yes,
it.
yes,
You don't need to go and rob a bank to go to
to
work.
go to work.
So if the government are not doing anything, you too stay at home. So and this call from Murek telling federal government to reduce working days to 4. No, and it's a good move, but we should reduce to 3 or 2. It's better. But it's fair now. Oh, because when you look at the transport you're using for one day, that is what you're supposed to use for like 3 days.
3 days, yes.
So what are we not saying? Is it not better we work 3 days, and the others you do from your home?
It's better.
The country will be peaceful. That everyone will be happy as well. And I love the fact that police seal Nasarawa Assembly Complex as leadership crisis deepens. We saw yesterday that they now have 2 speaker in
My
one
gosh.
assembly complex.
Assembly.
So it's better that they seal the place. They should go home. Politicians, they keep disgracing us on a daily basis. And I'm still laughing at the story here. And of course, I saw a story here that say overcrowding narco restrained pilgrims to 5 days stay in Medina. I don't know, but I've been seeing that story frequently. The other day they complained that they were not being treated
Treated
right and
right,
all that. So I
yes.
didn't know why they keep going though, but it's up to them. We are not bothered about critics calling us rubber stamp. But Nigeria, once they give you a name, that name is a name, I believe, is a name you take to the grave. Also, we raise up
Honestly.
that's the name.
Rubber
Yes,
stamp is so funny.
and this also we enable the 10th assembly, the new one, do better. You can't go to the National Assembly and be sleeping. You see these people sleeping during
Sleeping
session,
during session.
wearing agbada like this, wearing suit, and they are dozing or
Comfortably.
like, it's very shameful.
Oh, yes, it is.
And then when we have insecurity issues, when we have issues bordering on us as the people, you see our lawmakers going there to sleep after sleeping in their homes. So they still go there
To sleep.
Well, we move on quickly to the next newspaper
We have the Daily Sun newspaper, and our head news here is federal government plans earn as you work pay policy. And the writers say number of hours in office, quality of work will determine remuneration. And again, we have Tribunal, Tinubu, INEC opposed testimony by ad hoc staff. And the writers say how I rescued INEC staff from attack over failure to upload results PDP witness. That story is on page 27. Can president slam El-Rufai over comments on same-faith tickets? Tinubu swears in Akume as new SGF. And the writer said 6 EU collaboration on security, economic development. That story is on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Governors back president on subsidy removal. And the writer said major oil marketers donate 150-seater buses. President approves commencement of intervention programs. That story is on page 6. It is an insult to say Labour Party dictating for NLC Ajero. That story is on page 26. Anxiety over alleged plots to secretly inaugurate Enugu Assembly. The writer says clerk says it's foolish. It's foolish rumor. That story is on page 27. And again, we have here Senate presidency. Kalu Yari Izunaso's negotiations reach advanced stage. And the writer said as support base of senators elect hit 67. Yari Kalu joint tickets more formidable to win Lamido. That story is on page 26, and all these stories are on the front page of the Daily Sun newspaper.
Well, I love the story here that says federal government plans end as you pay policy.
I pray it works.
That is a good one. Number of hours in office, quality of work will determine remuneration. That is a very good thing we should applaud. That is what is obtainable in abroad. Nothing else. Yes, that is the only thing you see in abroad. They pay you per hour. The number not just coming to sit, but working during the hour. So that is something that a lot of people deserve. You see Nigerians working, young people struggling, waking up, struggling, and it's just like they're enslaving. So I think this is but the only thing, how would you checkmate the private sector?
The private sector.
That is another thing they should consider. It's an insult to say LP dictating for LSC Ajero. Anyway, the way it stands right now, a lot of people feel like you people are here, you are not stable, and that is why they are already calling you names. Senate presidency, Kalu Yari Izunaso's negotiation reach advanced stage as support base of Senate elect hit 67. Yari Kalu joint ticket more formidable to win, and this is coming from Lamido, page 26. Okay, we see how that go, and that's all we have this morning coming from the Daily Sun. Now, and that is a good place as well to wrap up the newspaper reviews this morning. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, I'll be coming back with my thoughts.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industrial icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Prince, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wiliki, Konga, Bijiano, Nice Flow, Jetplay, and many more. Dates, 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue, Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com/Nigeria Week or numbers below. For more details, visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week, produced by SRTV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information.
Okay, my people, it cannot be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered.
That quick break, like I did promise, I was going to come with a guest I have with me here via call, Bemzon Moshim. She is a broadcaster, a lecturer at the Department of Theatre and Film Arts, University of Jos. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, KESSY. How are you today?
I'm fine. Such a long time. Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So we saw a bill that was passed yesterday, of course, by the National Assembly to deal decisively with those lecturers, harassing students for sex for marks and all that. Now, what's your take on this as a lecturer?
Well, I think the bill had been in existence since 2020.
Yes.
The bill passed, as we know, through the Senate. It was sponsored by the Deputy Senate President, Omar Gege, and it had about 160 or 63 co-sponsors, which is huge in the Senate. And the bill has just been passed into law.
Okay.
So, yes, the bill has been passed into law. And I know it has generated a lot of controversies since it has been passed into law. Can you hear me, KESSY?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Since it has been passed into law, I think as somebody who works in the academia already, I would say I received this with, the bill has been there, people have been receiving it with mixed emotions.
Okay.
But I think it has come to stay now. So it's a good bill. It's a good one. But, the university already had mechanisms in place to deal with issues like this when issues are being raised.
But
this one gives students who maybe they have been threatened or in a way to come out, and seek legal action. So that is just my take on it.
And then also, let's not forget as well that people feel when we talk about harassment or sex for grades, people just look at it from the angle of the lecturer trying to molest the student. But sometimes I've seen a situation where the student trying to get the attention of the lecturer just because probably they have nothing to offer. So they are willing also to do this.
It's true.
Yes, but it's true. I think that does not really classify as assault or harassment, because this is the student coming to the lecturer for certain favors and offering certain compromises. But if we go back to the bill now, for instance, what the bill is stating, what this law is now stating is lecturers have a place of research, of community service, of teaching and supervision. And then if you're supervising somebody, a student is like a ward to you. You're supposed to do just these things to the student. And if you're found contravening this law, then you have to face punishments of 14 years imprisonment, not less than 2 years, without an option of a fine. Wow. If you're found in maybe harassment or something, it's 5 years, not less than 2 years, with an option of a fine. And then the bill also stipulates where there is evidence that the student actually is telling false accusations against the lecturer, the student is supposed to be suspended.
Okay.
You understand? So if this is like an exchange, a compromise where a student will say, okay, I need grades, this is what I can offer you, I don't think that can really be classified
as an assault.
as assault.
Okay,
But
now
even as the lecturer, I think what the bill stipulates is that you are in a position of being like a caregiver to these students. And so even if a student brings this up, you as a lecturer is not supposed, because at the end of the day, you need to draw a line between what assault is and what assault is not. And so it's usually a gray area when you talk about these things, and then you say, okay, what if the student goes tomorrow and says, oh, I was forced into it? I mean, what other evidence do you have to give?
that is right. And then also, but we live in a country where people don't tend to uphold the laws.
Yes.
People just feel like this is Nigeria, the law, the institutions are not working. I can do whatever I want and still get away with it. Now, how feasible is this? Did you even see this being working in this system, especially the university system that a lot of had a lot of institutions. People, we have the courtism, we have a lot of things going on there,
Yes.
happening to the students, around the lecturers, around the students, and nobody is checkmating this. How do you think this will even work?
Well, I would take you back and say it's not the case of nobody is checkmating it. It's the case of it has been reported. I have a situation that I know of somebody I know in the university system. Now, let's bring to mind that this law that has just been passed concerns all tertiary institutions, so universities, federal colleges of education, colleges of education, polytechnics, and the likes. Now, this lecturer is in the university, okay? And the university has systems to deal with these issues. Once it has been reported, it starts from the departmental level where the case is being reported, it goes to the faculty, then it goes to the management, to Senate, where investigations will be concluded and then penalty will be served. Now, I have a case of a lecturer who was involved in the case of sexual assault, sexual harassment, and the student reported it. And it was taken in the department. It was forwarded to faculty. It was forwarded to management. As I'm talking to you, the university has sacked the lecturer, has posted it on the newspaper, and the lecturer cannot get a job in any federal university or state university in the country or even abroad. So it's not like the system doesn't work. It's just that how this case has been reported. Even if it has been reported, did you follow the due process of reporting these cases? Like I said, some students will be they will be threatened. And so some, in the place of fear, will not be able to come out and say it. But for those who have been reported, I have seen actions taken by the university on these issues.
And then also, man, do you think we're talking about harassment, sex here? Now, nobody is even looking about talking about payment as well. That is another form.
Yes.
Do you think we should classify this as well as a form of harassment? When you tell students you must pay for marks, you must pay for marks, not sexual harassment now, but extorting these students.
Okay, we're looking at the general case of misconduct. Okay, now we're going away from the law that has just been passed about sexual. Okay, it is very wrong, and it is against institutions' policy to ask students to pay for grades. And I know for the system that I work for, the university, it is a grave offense, which is sackable, that you play with a student's grades or his examination.
Hello.
Like I said again, most of these cases don't get reported.
Okay. And also, ma, hello, we are having a little bit of network issues here. We do hope to have her back on the show.
We have seen cases like this, we have heard cases like this, they've been tried in departments, in faculties and all that. And it all boils down to the place that the student does not, speak out about it. Because we've seen it as a normal occurrence. I mean, all of us have passed through universities and through difficult lecturers. We see it as a normal occurrence. Okay, he says we should pay 5,000. If we pay that 5,000, all of us will pass. We have seen these cases, but this is a case of gross misconduct. And anybody that is this case know that it would lead to immediate termination of his appointment.
All right, ma'am. Now, when we look about the tertiary institution now, because that is what we're focusing
Focusing on,
on.
yeah.
The student, like I'm still emphasizing that sometimes people tend to blame the lecturers. We know that, of course, there must be bad eggs amongst the good
Good,
ones,
good ones,
but the
yes.
student themselves, they have their fault. Because we see students, like I said, I have friends that will tell you, is it not that guy? I will just go. There's nothing. I'm not writing. I'm not
I will
doing this.
just pay and pass.
Yes. So now, how do we even sanitize? Talking about the system now, because we are all focusing on the lecturers.
Mm.
Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, so how do we now sanitize or change the mentality of some students, because they also are interested in this even harassment? They don't see it as if though, like you did say, we all pass through the system,
Yes.
we see, we know these things, but some of the students are even are upholding this or applauding it because they feel is the easy way out. Now, how do we sanitize the system?
Now, the sanitary, I think we have discussed this so much at the university, at departmental level, faculty levels. It's very unfortunate that the level of education has been dropping. From primary schools, parents go to pay for their children to be promoted to the next class. From secondary schools, even when they are supposed to repeat, parents go to miracle centers or examination centers to
For
pay so their
example,
children can
and
pass.
all that.
That is
And you
true.
expect us, you bring somebody who is 18, 19 years old and bring him to the university and expect us to transform him overnight. It's not possible, it can't happen. So we're looking at a level of institutional decay that just didn't start at the tertiary institution level, but that started at the primary level to the secondary level, and then it gets to the tertiary education level where you can do very little, even if you try as much as you can. Now, I, for instance, am a level coordinator.
Okay.
I have about 230 students in my level, so these are the people I have to see through from 100 level to 400 level until you graduate.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to results and registration, students will secure admission into the university. They will never register in the department.
Okay.
They don't have, so you don't have a way of following their results. And then you have students that feel, okay, we'll pass, we'll just pay and pass. This is a very serious issue in universities, and we deal with it every day. It stares us in the face every day. We're dealing with youths who are very unserious and carefree. The problem with them now is how to make quick money.
That is true.
Their problem is, I want to blow. They want to make quick money, and then they see school as a waste of time. So I usually ask my students, if it's a waste of time, why are you here? You know, you can save your parents the money and just go home and stay, and maybe do whatever you want to do, because they feel that, I believe it's the way the world is going. And influences from social media and other places, they feel that education is a waste of time. It won't give you money. You're just wasting your time. You need to hustle and make things any other way. So the best thing to do, just pay up, get the certificate, keep it, go and do what you want to do. So we're dealing with really unserious students. Like I said, I'm a level coordinator. From 100 level, I have students that do not have file in the department. I have followed this up. I have followed up. I have called parents. I have called students. I have called guardians. And just recently, a few of them have come to open in 200 level. So we're looking at what happens in 100 level, what happens to their results.
Wow.
You know, in 100 level, we didn't know the courses they took because they don't have a file, they are not registered. So when you have this type of situations, it starts from somewhere. Institutional decay, it starts from somewhere. It doesn't just come and start in tertiary institutions. It is something that has been there. And we're trying our best to see how we can reduce some of these things. And sometimes, sincerely, parents are not even helping matters. You know,
yes. I was going to ask you about the parents as well and guardians. What do you think? Do you think they are just they might just be the problem? Because you see, even parents now offering their children, taking their children to the special center you did talk about
from the primary school level, secondary. It's so sad.
So, do you think we should now talk to the parents, or what should we do?
I think parents have stopped taking responsibility for children. Some parents have. Let me not generalize it.
Okay.
You see, the fact is, you have a child who just secured admission into the university. By the end of first semester, you know that results are supposed to be out. Second semester, you know results are supposed to be out. The funny part is, you reach out to the department. You reach out to the level coordinator. You come and say, okay, I want to see my words results. How far has he gone? Parents don't do that. And then a child will come and keep telling you stories upon stories upon stories. You don't come to verify. You just take up your chance. A lot of students that have been withdrawn don't tell their parents. The parents keep sending money until it's time, and they are saying, this is a 4-year course. We are supposed to have graduated. That is after it's late, then they'll come back to you and say, my child is over. When did your child 5 years ago? And you're just coming now? Parents do not hold their children accountable. And that is where the problem is. Some of these parents encourage these students. Some parents will come to you and say, my child has this issue, take this envelope. And they will hand it over to you. As a journalist, you know that. They will give you a brown envelope. And say, take this. My child has not, please tell me your account number. Do you understand? So what is that supposed to mean?
Wow.
So I think some of these parents are encouraging some of these things. So it's better we start holding our children accountable. Hold them accountable. This is, are you done with registration? Give me your level coordinator's number. Give me your HOD's number. I want to get in touch with them. Push your children. Once a child knows that, okay, my dad is going to call my level coordinator, and then she's going to ask how is my progress. I know that, I will read in school and pass. I had a student, sorry, I'm going to use this analogy.
Okay.
Who told his dad that they were shooting a film? And he kept asking for money. I think he got to a point where the father was skeptical because it had been 3 weeks after vacation and he had not gone home.
Wow.
So the father looked for my number and called me. And I told him, I said, nobody's shooting any film.
Wow.
Tell that boy to go home. And the father said, no, please, if you can talk to him for me. I'm like, talk to him for you. So I called the student and I told him, I said, okay, you need to go home. If you do not go home, next semester you're coming to meet me in the school. So he left and went home. Now, this particular student didn't come back to school. I noticed he was not in school. So because I had the father's number, I reached out to him. The boy said he does not want to come to school again. I said, why? He said he got involved with some cultists, that he kept giving issues. I'm like, no, sir. Your son is on probation. That is just the fact. The boy had about 10 carryovers at that time, just 100 level.
That is
and then
much.
The boy had all these issues. And you understand?
Yes.
And so we had so many issues. As I'm talking to you, the boy has not returned back to school because the boy said he doesn't want to come back to school. So he allowed the boy to stay at home. There are very little things that you can do as a level coordinator or as a lecturer. So the good thing is, I think parents need to really, really hold their children accountable. Monitor these children, monitor their progresses, and stop compromising. This is your child's future. I mean, if we do it here, what kind of leaders are we producing for tomorrow? We're producing leaders that will compromise, and already the nation is the way it is. We're praying it works better. But if we continue like this, what are we teaching the students?
Wow.
Sad.
There's a lot going on there, and then you keep hearing this school has come, and all that. Anyway, Anyway, we do hope that with the new bill, that will actually bring some kind of a sanity to the institution.
We hope so.
And of course, even the student will try to focus. This will help some people to read and stay focused as well.
Yes.
Well, thank you so very much for being on the show this morning. We do appreciate your time. You guys have been on the call with Benzo Moshe. She is a broadcaster, a lecturer at the Department of Theatre and Film Arts, University of Jos. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a beautiful day.
Thank
Yes, that was Benzo Moshim. She is my senior colleague as well. And we'll talk about journalism. She's one of the people that actually nurtured me and brought me up in this industry, and I owe this to her as well. Yes. She's a good presenter and a broadcaster.
I can see from the way she talks. So
she's indeed very good. Even when it comes to editing, she was one of the people that. Well, now I'm very happy that she's a big lecturer at that. Wow, you will hear from her. These are the issues. Now, because I am more concerned when everybody since yesterday, Twitter have been a god, and social media have been, lecturer is good for you people. No more sex for
they just focus on the lecturers.
If you don't see me.
Oh my
But
God.
I have been arguing with some friends that what about the student? I did have a classmate way back in school many years ago.
Yes.
She's from your state, actually. She will tell me that please, I'm not going, I'm not writing, I know what to do. I really think like
You'll be like, what? What's this
she
person
said,
doing?
there's something she used to say, I be think say to be fine get it easy. So I will not be wasting this my duty, I come and be stressing my brain before she leave me alone. So these are some of the mindset. Now when we focus so much on the lecture and then we now leave the student, funny enough, it's even the students sometimes that tend to push some of
Push the lecture
lecturers.
sometimes from the way they dress and all
Yes, and
that.
all
Yes.
that. You come to the school. That was something I was going to ask her. I even forgot. Sometimes you come to school, you dress like half naked. That is something I really love about the northern schools here,
Yes.
because you will see a very big signpost on the gates. This is how you're supposed to dress. And I've been. There was one time I went to school here. I was wearing something like this. I was not allowed to enter, even though I was fully covered, just the armlets. But they didn't allow me to go in until I had to bring out my tie, wrap my body, and I was even begging them because I had the exam. I had to quickly had to go in. But now, when you go to places like the school, my school I graduated from, when you go to the south, the east, you see people practically going into the school naked in the name of going to learn. What are you learning when you've not even learned
Dress
how
well.
to cover yourself properly? So these are some of the issues.
It's
Just
true.
maybe next time we'll discuss about that. But that would be a good place to wrap up the show today, viewers. Just before we go, don't forget our Nigerian Week London that is fast approaching. Go to eventbrite.com to get your tickets. All you have to do is just get your stand, buy your ticket, and attend that event. We have a lot of agencies, ministries, a lot of people partnering with us already. Film stars, movie producers, even musicians, and of course, fashion icon individuals as well. So do well to be part of that event. And just before we go, don't forget to hit on the notification bell.
Follow all our social media handles for more insights on SRTV.
Yes, and do well to stay. We know that the struggle for fuel is still there. People are home like one of the news they say people residents indoors they refuse to come out. Even though the streets are quiet, office is silent, no movement.
No traffic.
Yes, no traffic. But please, while you're out there, stay safe and know that while there's life, there's always hope. Do keep hope alive. It will be a best place to live it this morning. But we have other interesting programs coming your way soon. Hopefully, Wake Up Nigeria will come your way again tomorrow morning. I remain yours truly, Princess KESSY.
And I am blessing AKAN.
And remember, peace is priceless. So let's keep
Peace a chance.
See you tomorrow.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic